Hi folks, long time no see. I'm bringing you a shoutcast for the Operation Market Garden mod for Company of Heroes. We have a 4 versus 4 today on, I don't know, some map. I wasn't looking. We'll see as we go. So, on the allies, hello, we have Rye Assassin, Gork Star, Gobbo Slayer, and Redstorm. And on the axis, we have Stuart, Unlimited, James, and Run Zombie. I have decided to randomize which player we spectate from, so that it is a little bit less evident which side is going to win by way of whose perspective we're watching from. So, here we go. It has been promised that this is a close game, and also a long one. So, strap in. Let's see how we go. We look like we have a pretty mechanized start from the Panzer Lee here. We've got a couple of Panzer IV ISTs and some half-tracks, including some Panzerschreck squads and a Light AT half-track. Got some scouts meeting one another in the middle. Over on the Allies, we do have a sniper from Gobbo Slayer, a healthy amount of rifle grenades from Gork Star, as he is wont to do. Some Rangers from Rye Assassin could be good against those Light AT half-tracks, and again might just suffer against the Panzer IVs here. These are the infantry support tank variant. Both of them from James, who is just going to mulch these here squads, as Redstorm's troops seem to be just sort of out of position. Looks like he's trying to micro the Greyhound and hasn't really paid much attention to much else. I think we can safely just sort of write off those troops. Most of these troops, in fact. We do have this 30 cal setting up to try to block this infantry, and does so successfully, so there is that. But here comes the Panzer IV. What a mess. Meanwhile, over here we've got mortars coming down from Unlimited's mortar team, 8cm mortar, which is doing an amount of damage to Gobbo Slayer's infantry here. The sniper is picking away slowly but surely, but overall, so far, the allies seem to be taking some pretty bad casualties from what I have observed. We've got this machine gun set up on the far side of the wall here, not in cover, but it's not being shot at so much, so that's fine. We've got this AT gun from Gobbo Slayer now in position, trying to pick away at these infantry, these infantry support tanks, but Redstorm's AT gun has been overrun. We've got the lockdown now on this Panzer IV. A sticky has gone off, but it hasn't done any criticals to it, unfortunately, which is a second AT gun decrewed. Now, Gork Star and Rye Assassin do seem to have taken an amount of ground over here, which is fine. Good even under normal circumstances, but this circumstance, their allies are really in trouble with this armor start. So we have a long barrel Sherman from Redstorm. These guys take longer to reload, but they have better penetration against vehicles. And I'm not a particularly big fan of the long barrel Shermans myself because of the longer reload and smaller damage against, or smaller splash against infantry, but in this particular context it's not a bad idea because they can't be decrewed, and these snub barrel panzers can do barely any damage to it. Of course, we do have this AT gun from Rye Assassin also in position to deal with one, but as he's doing, he's definitely going to want to get that out of there, and if he can, get it back to this healing station. Ooh, sniper's in trouble? Uh-oh. Hello, sir. Here comes the Brit Blob and the AT gun to save the day. Okay, and it careens out of control and doesn't crush. Ooh, I was worried for the sniper there for a second. Doesn't crush anything. So, things seem to have stabilized a little bit. Run Zombie seems to have been, for the most part, wiped off the board here. And we've got reinforcing troops coming from James after the loss of both of those half-tracks. Looks like James is playing as Luftwaffe Grounds Forces because we have these Fallschirmjägers here. Oh no! We have destroyed engine on the Jumbo Sherman from the light AT half-track getting a rear penetration. Now, thankfully for that tank, the AT gun has been decrewed, but that's still no bueno. It looks like you see this thing so infrequently that I was not aware of this. It looks like, so the Jumbo used to be part of Armor Doctrine, and thus could purchase the self-crew repairs that is available for Armor Doctrine. It looks like when it was moved to infantry, it kept the ability to use crew self-repairs, which is good, because the thing has loads of hit points, and infantry doctrine doesn't have good repairs. So that might get the engine back into action. We've got some extra repairs from these sappers, under fire from the mortars, which are chipping away at the health repeatedly. If he just stops it, it'll fix faster. He's breaking off because the mortar is wise, otherwise he just would have lost a huge number of those troops. I expect there's probably a communication going on here. Get that tank out of the mortars and then I'll fix it for you. But in the meantime, every chip that this hit takes is going to be taking that much longer to get back into action. And we had this mine here too, which bodes ill for it in the future. How's that sniper? We still got him? We do. But maybe not for long, because we have some scout vehicles on from Unlimited, presumably to try to take it out. Oh no. What's he being shot by? Surely that wasn't all damage from the mortars. There's no way. I used to really like this thing as part of Armor Doctrine. I just... ah well, I do not need to wax upon it. It's gonna die, so we don't need to worry about it. Alright. Looks like the armored cars are mobilizing after the sniper has revealed itself, picking away at these grenadiers. So let's keep an eye on them also, put them on a control group. I've got a beginning of a flank, it looks like, here from Stewart. Or maybe just hanging out. Ooh. Nice hits from Gork and Rye on that mortar half-track, but it looks like he will safely get away to be repaired another day. Speaking of repairs, do we have any repair bunk? Ah, yes. There's one going up now. Now, here's some very expensive troops in sight of this sniper here. Every one of these guys that the sniper kills is a pretty healthy chunk of munitions and manpower. Both these tank busters with the advanced repair, as well as these Fallschirmjägers and the Gebirgsjägers. So, 14 kills on the sniper, not bad. Getting some decent mileage out of it and doing a good job keeping it alive. Repairs, however, for the Allies right now are definitely a problem, because it doesn't look like they have any improved repairs available to them at the moment. They have a Brit player, so ostensibly they should be able to have some in their company. But there's a lot of US players here, and none of them appear to be Armor Doctrine, which means no American improved repairs, which means these Germans, when they take criticals, are just going to suffer. Looks like the Allies are trying to worm their way to the left, but it's just a little bit of a cluster here. And the mortars are happy to take advantage. Yeah, this half-track just sort of getting repairs along the way. A probing move from Gabo Slayer and Dr. Nick up in the middle here, chasing off these Fallschirmjägers. Nice, but here comes a mortar. Ooh, what's this? This might be the infantry barrage, maybe? Yeah, I think so. The infantry 105 barrage. Nice hits on it, for that matter, as well. The officer skirts away, but he just lost, I believe this was Unlimited, right? A mortar and a Panzerschreck squad. Very good value. Oh, and there goes the sniper. While that was happening, though, our Sturmwagens snuck in. Seemed to have gotten it while the rest of the troops were away. Now, I do recall, we did see a Pack 40 coming on somewhere. There you are, sir. And these guys, I think I saw another one, though. Yeah, these guys... in this war, I have observed them being bugged where they can't be decrewed. And some players pull them off when the crew dies, and some players continue to use them, which I will refrain from sharing my opinion on. But if that happens during this game, we'll want to keep an eye on that and see how great of an effect that has on the outcome. Alright, we got some big explosions coming down on account of this here priest on the field, looks like. 2 kills on it so far. But it looks like, for the most part, people have gotten it out of the way. Although, is this a victor target? It looks like, or not a victor target, what do you call the thing? The other thing that they got. Creeping barrage coming down also. Dicey place for that AT gun to be sure. Especially because Rye's moving it up with the crew not being protected by the gun shield there, for the most part. When you move these AT guns, you want to try to give them orders to move in reverse. I have a script that lets me just queue up rapid move orders, which is very convenient. If you don't have that, it's much more difficult, but it's a good thing to try to learn how to do so that you can make the gun back up backwards and keep the green cover of the gun shield between you and whatever's shooting at them. Otherwise, they'll just die most of the time. So this medic tent destroyed earlier, we have a new one up from Gabos there in an interesting position. I guess it's relatively close to the front, but it is not protected by anything. Alright, we got the AT gun opening up. Oh! Counter artillery from Stuart's Hummel coming down on the healing station. 6 kills right out of the gate. Yikes. And a 105 on from Gabo as well. I don't know that that has fired yet. Or maybe that was what shot earlier. No, because the priest has kills. 3, in fact. So, the mortar half-track has outlived the sniper. So that's this attrition tool for James still in action. Has not been getting as many kills per minute, but they don't always have to. They can just do damage and then let whatever units are fighting pick up the slack. However, right now it is under fire from an AT gun and goes down. So unless someone has got a Burger Tiger, that one's just gone, and that would be a risky thing to try to revive anyway without a big push. So the game seems to have slowed down a bit. Both sides seem to be starting to rely a bit on artillery more. We've got a rocket artillery half-track on from Unlimited, for example, in addition to all the other pieces that we have seen. But that hasn't stopped Run Zombie from making this probe up here, trying to take out this medic tent. Just destroy as many of those as you can is always a good idea, because with infantry players, they can just get so much walking wounded to keep attritioning your boys, like this one, right here. Here's one. Keep weapons crewed. You kill a weapon crew and immediately 2 more squads come to replace it.
Our forces are taking casualties.
This triage center is toast. Yeah, so that would be the Doctrinal Flame Barrage for defensive, it looks like. I'm fairly certain that's Doctrinal for defensive. Haven't used it in a while, not a big fan of those, but getting good mileage out of it there, so maybe I should give him another chance. Usually I just rely on the Rocket Barrage as defensive, the off-map one, which is expensive. That is a much more economical way to destroy a triage, to be sure.
Enemy unit down.
We'll have to see if Unlimited has it and can get sight on this 105. Where is the 105? Is it already dead? Maybe it is. Well, alright. Was a rather forward 105. So it looks as though the Allies are being put a little bit on the back foot. Is this a booby trap? Cat and Krausen can do booby traps, I think, right? It doesn't make any sense, but I'm fairly certain that's what that is. So booby trap on the church. We'll operate on that assumption. We've got some troops being brought back to this medic station, but the medic station is already full, which I think just means nothing happens. Do they overfill? I'm not sure. I don't use medic tents much either. Oh, hello, sir. However, from James, we have a very interestingly placed 88 millimeter. Placed, yep, was a booby trap. There we go. Here come some men to die. Ooh, and some men to die over here with the Hummel coming in. Whee! There goes some rifle grenades. So got the squad. This mortar team from Ryasashin is playing with danger. Yeah, no, it's certainly going to die. But anyway, this 88 set up in the middle of the map, which consequently means it is in the middle of a number of buildings. There's a pretty good amount of open ground, and is certainly going to be able to control this side here, presuming it doesn't get destroyed or decrewed by the artillery that's coming down. But it does sort of leave it vulnerable to an attack from this side, where there are plenty of shot blockers that the Allies can use to advance on it. However, that is locked down by Run Zombie's invisible army, as Luftwaffe ground forces' whole gimmick for some reason is turning invisible. I guess sort of meant to sort of play into the ambush factor for Fallschirmjägers, maybe, that's the reasoning. Anyway, there goes that mortar. We got some bazooka rangers from Gabo Slayer. Looks like they don't have submachine guns, it's just bazookas. And you know what? I don't love the matchup against MP40s, to be honest, although if they have grenades, great, all the power to them. There goes that squad. Vet 3 Volksgrenadiers from Unlimited, and Vet 2 Pioneers as well. Unlimited is sort of known for enjoying the persistency portion of the persistency mod, in fairness. We do have 2 medic half-tracks on from the Axis, actually. Which, fair enough, I guess. They don't cost as much pop now as they used to. We've also got this... oh no, that's... for some reason I thought that was a Ford HQ. Clearly it isn't. This locked down scout car providing some suppression. Just... oh, and the slow on the LT for Gorkstar's troops. Goodbye to that, Lieutenant, for sure. It doesn't look like he's got heroic charge ready to get out of there. Oh, and the artillery. Oh, I can't watch. I can't watch all of those men. So what's going on over here? Red Storm, I don't think we've looked at Red Storm very much. Or this really whole right side, because it's just sort of locked down, I guess. Most of the action seems to have been taking place over here. More walking wounded from Nick. I guess Red Storm probably got one because this tick is gone. So maybe it does overfill, because that seems to have filled up pretty quickly. I'd say we can keep an eye on it, but I'd be lying. I probably won't. There go some very expensive troops. What are those? Eastern Front vets, Ostfront vets, taken out by a mortar. Lots of artillery in this match. Very... oh, hello, sir. So I was going to say, very interesting that that is not going on the 88, but the 88 is decrewed. I wonder if the Allies know about that. I suspect they might not, on account of the fact that they're not really aggressing towards it. We have a spotter on from Rye that just is getting picked off by these falls, gonna run back, but... I mean, yeah, okay, I know they've got this Pack 40 here sort of locking this place down, but ouch, the more they stand around, the more this is happening. Do they have 2 of these things on, actually? 23 kills on the Hummel. Jeez Louise. Looks like they only have the one. He's just using it very proactively. But, point is, yeah, they have this thing here. And that's not great for tanks. But, it's not going to stop infantry. If they just charge the 88, these Rangers could blow it up. Or blow up whatever this was. No idea. But yeah, okay, they'll be able to see now there is no crew on the 88, which means they can sweep in. This reveals the Pack 40, which James is keeping on the field in spite of the fact that it doesn't have a crew. So, shame on you, James. But here come the Rangers to blow up the 88, maybe. Grenade, decrews it, very good. Grenades, of course, are now pinpoint because in the previous update, or a relatively recent one, at least on the timescale that this game is updated, they implemented a change that was implemented in Vanilla Company Heroes, but not implemented in the mod for many years, which is that there's no scatter on grenades, so you can just, boop, pop one down, decrew that gun. But they were not able to take it out. The Rangers backed off. I don't know if they even got away. They did. Fair enough.
Enemy unit down.
Yeah, and see, so here we see Gork just trying to destroy the weapon and finally does, so good on you, Gork, and is going to try to fall back instead of continue pushing on the 88 without support. Meanwhile, at the farm, Run Zombie's sort of entrenchment is still locked down here, especially with this another 88 in this area, but his probe into the American flank is being chased off by Red Storm's combination of mech infantry and Greyhound, a pretty decent counter to this set of units here, because the Greyhound is relatively hard to hit on account of, like, as long as you keep it moving, it's relatively hard to hit, just because that's how light vehicles tend to work. But it also, as long as you keep it near the mech infantry anyway, gives a bonus to that mech infantry, an offensive bonus. But they don't really need it to tear apart these kinds of troops. It looks as though Red Storm, probably being aware, yeah, it's got kills on it, that scout car is there, doesn't want to pursue it too aggressively, so that's going to get away. So, how's our 88 looking? It's still here. And now we've got 2. So, I will be curious. I hope the Allies are paying attention that another trap is going on the charge. But I will be very curious to see how the Allies deal with this. We've got a new 105 also in red cover, just like the last one for reasons that elude me. Firing, sure enough, on the 88. Did it get one of these guys? Oh. Alright, 88 is decrewed again. Let's see if they do anything about it. We got some rifles coming up, maybe to try to nab it. Now, its line of fire is going to be very poor in this position, but at least, you know... Yeah, they're just going to blow it up. Fair enough. I think they probably could have gotten away with putting the walking wounded on, but I have more information than they do. It's probably safer on their part to just destroy it while you have the window. Nice hits from these Panzerschreck squads on the Sherman. Knocks out half the health. Here comes the Hummel again. Blows up a tank. Eee. And destroys the wreck for good measure. That's a solid pickup for the Hummel, to be sure. What's going on over here? Looks like Gorkstar has come to trade places, I guess, with Red Storm rather than assist him, making good use of the smoke grenades from the rifle sections with rifle grenades on them to not get suppressed by this scout car, presuming it was locked down. Ooh, big shot from the priest, I assume. Yep. 14 kills on the priest. Also not bad. Run Zombie, rather than take advantage of the defensive damage reduction on the half-track while it's locked down, electing to just try to move it away. And does get rewarded for it. Doesn't take a hit. Nice kills from the priest. Alright. What's the blob doing now? Going to run in and chase down all of these grenadiers and panzer grenadiers. Truly the might
Our forces are taking
of His Majesty's forces. Axis coming to meet with these MP40s from Unlimited. Accuracy from MP40s on the move, of course, being terrible, but if you can stand and fight, they are pretty solid over medium to close range. And so, not wanting to get into a tango with that, they're just moving back. Just, you know, come in, do some damage, and then pull back before reinforcements arrive. Very good sort of harassment tactics. We'll take some damage in retaliation from the artillery, but not too much. Oh no. Nick can't catch a break with these tanks, it seems like. Now this is interesting, the Sherman's suppressing these troops. I wonder if Rye Assassin has got machine gun as primary weapon, or whatever it's called. I don't... Is he infantry doctrine? I don't know what doctrine he is. Really? Oh, yes we do, because he's got a gun here, howitzer. There goes that. What even destroy... Panzerschrecks, yes, of course. Maybe even the 88. Can it go that long? Hmm. Anyway, what was I saying? I don't know. Oh yeah, infantry doctrine has a thing that gives you a boost to your tank's machine guns at the expense of a slower reload on the cannon, and it really makes it into a very potent anti-infantry machine. Now, the 50 cal on its own does have pretty good suppression, so it's possible that he just got some really good suppression on those troops, but I wouldn't be surprised if he has that. It's a pretty good doctrine unlock. I think it's a very worthwhile trade-off. It is gonna be very... because he's got the debuff on the reload for the long barrel, and then he's got the debuff on the reload from machine guns as primary weapons, if that is the case, so that cannon is not going to be shooting very much, but I guess at least it can defend itself against medium vehicles and get a few hits in. Speaking of getting hits in, we've got a martyr from James with 2 building kills for running over 2 sections of sandbags. So the lines seem to have stabilized a bit again. We've got another howitzer on from Nick. So much artillery. 3 howitzers from the Allies, the Hummel and the rocket artillery from the Axis, as well as the Sturmpanzer, which is in effect more or less the same purpose as artillery, right? It's a breaching tool. You come up, you blow something up, you back it up.
Enemy unit down.
Has a bit of a faster cooldown in exchange for having to put itself in danger. Oh no. Lots of crits, engine crits, mobility crits on these Shermans today. And this one probably not going to get away with a Panzerschreck squad coming up here. Yeah, wow, that must have had some wear and tear on it to be killed in that one shot there. Alright, so what's going on over here? We've got some artillery coming down. We've got 3 players. So just sort of a holding force on the left side. Does look like Run Zombie scout cars locked you down are being a bit obnoxious, but we have the technology in the form of Piats and armored cars, so that is going to quickly pack up and get out. Oh no, another one. Destroyed engine on the Greyhound. But there is a backup scout car, also dealing its own suppression. Howitzer coming down to try to nullify this building. Ooh, nice hit on the repair infantry also. Now, these troops you do not want to be attacking here, right? MP40s in green cover with medkits, even if these mech-inf were not suppressed, is probably not something that you would want to charge into. Oh, speaking of charging into, we're going for the sniper with the Gewürzjägers, and this AT gun's going to be in trouble too, but yeah, poof, gone. So these Gewürzjägers, of course, functioning, ouch, like a British recon section. They've got a recon snipe ability, essentially. And that takes out the sniper. Now, all this infantry from James is going to be in trouble now. Is going to be surrounded. It looks like he's just going to hold up and take as much down with him as he can, providing line of sight for the 88 to continue firing.
Infantry squad lost.
And the Martyr coming up perhaps to finish off the Greyhound, which it does. But at the cost of some sticky bombs to damage the no! Both, and also immobilize. Very nice. The only problem here, of course, being that it is protected by the 88. Just about anything you could do to get in line of sight easily to blow it up is also in range of the 88. You could like worm around here, but that is very forward and exposed and would probably be overrun by infantry. Speaking of infantry, we've got a Piat that was turned over for Run Zombies troops. Taking some damage from, I assume, friendly literal fire here, so a little bit sloppy on that. Oh, I was gonna say you probably want to get out of there and heal them, but nice picks on that weapon squad. He's not gonna be able to pick those up safely, but even so, wiping out the squads is good. Leaving the weapons does mean the Gorka's gonna be able to pick them up, but hey. That's how attrition works, baby. So, over here, our Sturmpanzer has collected a few kills, but is doing a very frontline repair. Looks like it is receiving advanced repairs, but
Enemy unit down.
Stu is going to pull it back before it gets plinked anymore by that AT gun, which really should move up, if I'm honest. But Rice seems to be microing his infantry primarily, while Godwell moves to get his AT gun in position instead. And if he's lucky, he might be able to pick this mortar half-track. But it's moving back. Oh dear. That shot got 10 kills. It had 7 infantry before, and now it has 17. Ouch. Unlimited's rocket half-track is not doing bad for itself either. I can never get these things to work, especially if there's only one on at a time, right? In my experience, you usually need 2, but that takes up so much population. It's like 14 pop for a pair. And with only 1, I can never get him to kill anything, but clearly Unlimited knows something that I don't, because he's managed to get 23 on that bad boy, and that is relatively keeping pace with Stuart's Hummel, right? 30 kills on the Hummel. I realize that's like a whole third more or whatever, but relatively speaking, that's a lot of kills on a rocket half-track. And here it comes, I assume, on the AT gun in the healing station. Maybe another incendiary barrage. Yes, quite indeed. You know what? I'm going to give these things a try next war. I'm going to give them another shot, because that is very effective at taking out triage stations. Got some crossfire from these machine guns here to hold the center for the Allies, as they appear to be somewhat being pushed back at this point. Now we've got an off-map artillery coming down on Red Storm's machine gun. What is it? The officer barrage. Ah, there he is. Yes, defensive officer. So, Unlimited is in fact playing as defensive. Red Storm does manage to get away with the weapon crew, but at the expense of 1, this place now being undefended, and 2, taking heavy damage. Now, it doesn't look as though... Building an OP. Doesn't look as though the Axis are in a position to capitalize the fact that that machine gun is not in place, but, well, all of the allies are grouped up around here anyway, so maybe it's for the best that they don't try. We have a listening post, an observation post going up in the middle from Unlimited, which is another unit that you do not see very well. Unit building. It's a building that you pretty rarely see. I believe these provide line of sight and lock down the territory. So that's going to be this sector, basically permanently for the Axis until that can be destroyed, even if they do not keep a troop in it, which is a little bit devious because it is a pretty heavily contested sector. But the Axis only need to just keep them away from the OP to keep this locked down, and the Allies are not going to be able to take it back. And meanwhile, a very delicious back cap from James going on over the left here. So the Allies are definitely going to be in trouble with regards to pop. They are tied up right now. Allies have 40 pop, Axis have 40 pop, but the Allies are now, as you can see up here at the top, slowly beginning to lose population. They're going to be losing 1/3 pop per minute, and that will only accelerate as the game goes on and or as the Allies lose population. Now, of course, they can just cut this off here to stem the bleeding, And once they do that, they are approximately up to halfway again, so it's perhaps not quite as bad as it looked at first glance. But we have a third 88 up for the Axis. Is gonna blow up that AT gun. Here it goes. Gets away. So, just some suicidal walking wounded doing a bit of scouting, maybe for some artillery, maybe not, I don't know. Just hanging out, dying, I guess. Feeding vet, as one does.
Enemy unit down.
Yeah, pretty healthy amount of walking wounded from the Allies, as you would expect from having infantry doctrine. Wow, what a grenade from these riflemen from Rye. They tried to get out of the building, it looked like, but the grenade landed such that the explosion still just hit them while they were grouped up getting out of the building.
Enemy unit down.
Uh-oh. A big rifle retreat. The blob is off for Gorkstar. What do we have here? Looks like these flamethrower troops are going to try to rush the 88 to decrew it, because the crew, of course, is benefiting from green cover. But with this locked down scout car here, that's going to be difficult, especially with these Panzer Grenadiers adding on. Oh my.
Enemy unit.
Well, it was an interesting idea. I would say the execution was a bit lacking, especially because it didn't seem to be coordinated with any of his comrades. However, while that was happening, Nick was able to get in with these bazookas and blow up the other 80. Oh my goodness, 31 kills on the Sturmpanzer, 34 kills on the Hummel, 26 kills on this half-track. The Allies are just getting eaten alive by Axis artillery right now. What are we looking for these guys, right? Not nearly so much. Well, okay. Gork's Priest. 4 howitzers on from the Allies, but their combined kill total is far less than the 3 pieces from the Axis, if we count the Sturmpanzer as artillery. Hell, it's less than the 2, like, actual pieces of artillery. Axis are definitely getting much better value out of their support pieces, whereas for the Allies, now they are officially losing pop properly. They're down to 38, and they've got all this population tied up in artillery that is just not really doing much for them right now, at least if our kill tallies are to be an indication. Now, they have used it to decrew these 88s a bit, but really just sort of not comparable. Speaking of decrewing 88s, this one's decrewed. Are we going to do anything about it? Oh no, no one's in position to do anything about it. It's just trying to plink away at it with the Greyhound. With the gunner killed. It's a little funky to me that the Greyhounds are able to have a machine gunner and still shoot the destroyed engine, still shoot the gun, because, like, the gun is loaded right there, right? You can see the breech recoil there, and then you put the next shell in, and so, like, the guy who's in the cupola here, which is the commander, he's also the loader and gunner, so he can't operate the 50 cal at the same time. But Company Heroes doesn't give a damn. Company Heroes lets the gun load on its own. Anyway, no joy killing the 88, it would seem.
Enemy unit down.
Flame grenade, or by the looks of it, maybe an anti-building grenade on this medic station. The anti-building grenades being just sort of a variety or oh no, a variety or flavor of flame grenade, if you will, where it burns for longer with a slower damage over time and costs less. Oh man, this Sturmpanzer just murked that Ranger squad, as I'm sure you saw. And then the rocket half-track decrews the howitzer and blows up some jeeps. And let's actually use that to check our pop. I am throwing it in for the Axis, but again, I was promised this to be an even game, so we'll see. But boy howdy, does the Axis have artillery superiority right now, and the Allies are just struggling to deal with it. I mean, look at this. And this healing station is going to go down. That was probably their last triage, because they've lost 3 now, and they've got a Brit for the 4th. All of Red Storm's troops just pinned down here. Now Red Storm has got a Jackson. That's going to do a number against this Wirbelwind, at the very least to chase it off, unless, of course, you advance on the wrong side of the hedge and take a shot from the 88 and a Panzerschreck. So, these guys have a very long range on them, much longer than they can see, even if you get the doctrinal increased line of sight for tank destroyers. So you really want to scout ahead for these things with some troops, and it doesn't look like Red Storm really has any, aside from these walking wounded he just got. So, yeah, let's check out everyone's reserves. Red Storm has got 5 platoons left, which bodes somewhat ill for Nick. Nick appears to have been sort of bearing the brunt of the fighting in the center, although Rye is also out of troops. What he has is what he's got, which is some BAR Rangers. Not a bad thing to have, to be sure. But right now it looks like he's going to be using them to fight other elite infantry, and that's not usually what you want to do, right? Especially if they've got this ambush position. I say use to fight other elite infantry, by which I mean just that's the matchup that exists right now. That's the tools that he has. Usually with elite infantry you want to try to do a counter to them rather than spend your own elite infantry trying to square off against them and take casualties. So anyway, here goes this howitzer. Bop. 39 kills on this thing. Holy cow. And there goes the gun. Alright. Yeah, this is not going so good for the Allies in my evaluation here. 29 kills now on the half-track, which is shooting, coming down on the mortar. No joy in the mortar, looks like. But you can't win them all. Which is something that I didn't think I would ever say about the Walkenstück half-track, if I'm honest. Because that implies it wins ever. But the proof is in the pudding, I guess. It's interesting that this truck that's just sort of an ambient part of the world can have a burning engine. Alright, so we got a sniper from Rye, 3 kills on it. Very wounded AT gun that nonetheless is going to be forced to join the fight on account of the fact that there's no more healing left. Oh no, oh no, oh no, sir, be careful, what are you doing, sir, this is not wise. Don't keep your sniper next to the AT guns. Oh, you fortunate duck that he doesn't want to stand around and be shot rather than just sort of commit to it and maybe get an overshoot to kill the thing. Fair and prudent, but that, I mean, whoa, in another timeline, this ended very poorly.
Enemy unit down.
So a little bit of a counter push going on from the Allies on the left here, while the right has seemed to be swept a bit, cutting off this back cap. Oh, actually, holy cow, I didn't see this. Gorkstar, nicely done on the back cap here, has regained population for the Allies. They're back up to 40 as he is just swept around with his troops inside this carrier to cut off the Axis lines, and so aggressively enough that in that short amount of time they already lost 1 pop. Now, it looks like they're going to be able to equalize that pretty quickly, but very well done from Gork to swipe those couple remaining pop back for the Allies that they were missing and stabilize that bleed. Oh, running the Rangers over red cover, but the Fallschirmjägers were shooting at the infantry, the riflemen, so fair enough. Here comes a light AT half-track. Wonder if he's going to use the snipe the men's ability. Doesn't need to, because here comes the Hummel. Ay. These poor boys. We have entered the situation where the Axis have both healing advantage and artillery advantage over the Allies. What is going on? Sticky bomb on the half track. Immobilized. I wonder if that would have happened if it were just left to be locked down, you know, to eat the sticky and then pack up, because they have the defensive bonus. I don't know if that affects the crits. All right. Oh, okay. Well, a bit of redemption for one of these artillery pieces, the priest. Knocked out that elite infantry there. Very good. We've got a smoke barrage coming down, presumably to defend against... I don't know what to defend against, actually. I'm not sure what the purpose of that was. Maybe you clicked the wrong button. Okay, okay, okay. A decent counter push from the Allies at the moment, actually. Doing some pretty good damage. They took out the healing half... No, they didn't. They immobilized the healing half-track. They've wiped off some troops here, including some very expensive infantry from Stuart. The Sturmpanzer is damaged and on the run. Or recapping this territory over here. Meanwhile, in the middle, yep, there's another counter push happening here, although the Axis is coming to meet it. I think the Allies have a small advantage in troops here, but not enough of a one to make a decisive move. Meanwhile, we got the suppression on these BAR troops. Oh no. Here comes more artillery. Alright, what's the total? Oh, this one's new. 31 kills on that one and 17 on this one. 18 even. Yowza. Maybe I'll get over it eventually, but I just can't for the moment get over just how brutally effective the Axis are being with their artillery right now. 43 on the Hummel, right? Let's do a tally. 18 plus 31, that's 49, right? Plus additional 43 is 92. And then if we include the Sturmpanzer for an additional 42, brings us with what, 130? I lost count, but it's a lot, is the point. Alright, well, very short-lived Panzer IV infantry support tank there, taken out by the Jackson. Where's the Verbal Van? Did that get away, or is that dead? Who's to say? But there goes the healing half-track, locked down, and here's this, yes. Okay, okay, okay. Well, I guess the Allies aren't out of it yet. We never did look at, we never finished looking at what everyone's situation is, right? So, Rye Assassin remains all on. Gobbo Slayer remains all on. Gorkstar has a healthy amount left, which I guess makes sense, because you get a lot of mileage out of the blobs from Gorkstar. Red Storm has got 2 platoons left for the Axis. Stuart has got 2 platoons left. Unlimited has got 4 platoons left, which again to a degree makes sense because his population has been used largely by this artillery, and it looks as though he's wanting to pull this off and forgot to hit the button, maybe? I'm not sure. But yeah, maybe he is desiring more field presence. Speaking of field presence, we have a truck here, presumably with an 88 inside, that's packed up.
Enemy unit down.
What a lucky Jackson. It's probably still going to die, though. No? Alright. Gets away for now, but is going to be suffering for some good repairs because Red Storm doesn't have advanced repairs for his engineers in spite of playing his armor. Maybe he just doesn't have the VPs, I don't know. And unless he's already used it, I'm not sure that he has crew repairs on the vehicle either. Alright, so here comes the retaliatory artillery from the Allies. 2 coordinated strikes in the same location. Not hitting a whole lot, if I'm honest. If we move back a little bit further and hit the repair bunker, or by luck the cloaked pack, I don't know that they know that that's there. That maybe would have been a bit more productive. I don't know that they got soldiers. Okay, I mean 28 kills on the priest. That's not bad, right? It's in the context of this game, it's fine, but I mean, the artillery showing from the Axis has just been so impressive to me. We've got 2 mortar half-tracks from Run Zombie. I guess Run Zombie, yeah, is out. We never did finish this inventory. Run Zombie is all on field. Who have we missed? Orange. Stewart is bringing on his second to last call-in now. You know what? I don't see a lot of brown on. James is calling on his last platoon now. He just hit the button. So, alright. The Axis is running low on stuff. Gorkstar still has a lot left. So in spite of the horrific attrition the Allies have been suffering, it is padded somewhat by the walking wounded, I suppose, although a lot of those have been just sort of thrown away rather than used to refresh weapon crews. But, yeah, they've just sort of absorbed those casualties somehow, while Gorkstar preserved his troops very effectively and has a good amount in reserve. Now, how much of that he can use at one time with 2 priests on the field is another matter, but the point remains. And the Axis are now losing pop. So this is, in fact, perhaps shaping up to be the close game that was promised. Really nasty hits on this Panther. I wonder if there were some AP rounds involved in that from these AT guns, because that was fresh and just brought on, and now it is limping back to get some band-aids, because we still have this repair bunker, which, you know, I'm not entirely sure why it was built in front of the building but behind it, but hey, I'm not the one playing. Yeah, so, with the casualties that the Axis are taking, they find themselves now in the interesting position that they don't have a huge amount left. They have some left, but not a huge amount, and are mostly just artillery now. Which means I think Unlimited at this point probably should call off some or all of these rocket half-tracks, as productive as they have been, and get some troops that can fight, because right now the Axis don't have troops that can fight. And the Allies, in spite of everything, somehow do. And Rye Assassin, like a hero, is committing these Rangers to fight just about to the end. Right, these guys, this one man has got 6 out of 65 hit points. This pair has got 32 hit points between them. But he knows he needs every unit and is committing to the game rather than the vet, in spite of the fact that this 6 hit point man is vet 3. And that I respect. So, here comes the artillery barrage, the coordinated priest barrage that is going to take out this pack gun, which matters moderately because we have the Jackson. Yeah, and right now the Axis are really sort of struggling to have like a field presence. I said it already, and I don't need to, I guess, beat on it like a broken record, but I think what really needs to happen right now is Unlimited needs to replace these 14 pops worth of stuff with men, if he has any troops left in the company. Otherwise, they're just not going to be able to cap anything, and they're not going to be able to defend any of their support assets, right? The support assets are just going to be overrun. If you have nothing but support assets, then they have nothing to support. Alright, this T-17 could just sort of run in right now and run roughshod over everything except for this Panther, but the Panther, of course, is almost dead, so he could just put the stun on the Panther. This bazooka can come in, get a rear shot or something, right? This is all, of course, theoretical, but the point is these options are available, and wouldn't be that hard if the only thing that's standing in the way is a Panther, in my opinion. Now, of course, you can just sort of run in front of a pack gun or whatever that was, or maybe hit a mine, and take a damaged engine. That's always a thing that can happen, I guess. Alright, we got the AT gun set up, and we'll give a solid miss on the Sturmpanzer, which will back up. Now, hang on a second. Wait a minute. Oh, I see. For a second, when I clicked on Unlimited, I thought that he had only 18 out of 40 pop. I'm like, my dude, what are you doing? But no, that is Nick's population. I know how this game works. Yes, yes, yes. Alright, it looks like... Nope, this Ranger man is still here, trying to recapture this house. This tank is very much struggling to get repairs. It looks as though the Hummel is Going to die from the armor-piercing rounds on the Bren carrier? Keep it moving, man. Dodge the Panther shot. Oh, wow. That would have been quite impressive. Almost took out the Hummel with the armor-piercing rounds. Alright, here comes the Jackson. Put that on target. It's been repaired enough for this, one would hope. Main gun, great. Now pursue that. Go after the Hummel or something. Right. Possibly job done, unless we can get a tread break in here from the half-track. But,
Enemy unit down.
there goes that. Yeah. Is it 2 bazookas on these guys? There are. Alright, now here's some troops from Unlimited. Right. He's still got these friggin' half-tracks on. And he's still got 3 platoons left. Alright. Surely, sir, this is a sign that the lines are fluid enough that you're not going to be able to do what you want and you should replace them. Yes? Yes?
Enemy unit down.
Nice Shrek pickup for that. Alright, now these troops are going to... See, this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? The Allied infantry is so damaged. They don't have hit points because they've not had healing for most of the game at this point. He's going to keep it on. What about the other one? He's going to keep it on. Alright. Got a new pack. Not bad for the Axis. Because they've still got that Jackson? Is that what just died there? I think it is. Looks like. Alright. So, I think this is really going to sort of come down to how effectively Unlimited can use his troops to counter the enemy troops. And the enemy does not have a lot of troops left. Is the Panther still alive? I don't remember. No, it's dead. So that, of course, is a problem. Now, the Axis do have that pack gun that they can use to try to counter the T-17. They've also got the Light AT half-track. No, that was the half-track that died, which is very unfortunate. If you could pick a mortar half-track or a Light AT half-track in this situation, I think you definitely want the AT half-track to try to tread break the T-17. We still have the scout car to lock down infantry, which is good. The T-17 has a lot of work to do. Ooh, we have a 105 Sherman on from Red Storm. That could be interesting. We've also got these Shreks, which are going to be a very important unit for Stuart, because the Allies still have a lot of vehicles, including this 105 Sherman. Now, the 105 Sherman does not have a 50 cal gunner on it, so its effectiveness in a direct fight is basically nil. Should you hypothetically want to use it for a machine gun. But all you need to do is get one decent shot on Unlimited's infantry, and that would be a huge victory. Speaking of infantry, it looks like he's trying to use some of it to recap backline territory. Oh, alright, there's Rye Assassin's last ranger, man. I give a gold star to Rye for keeping those troops on to the end, in spite of the fact that there was no healing, when many opportunities arose before now that he could have been tempted to pull them off and did not. But that's his bit.
Enemy unit down.
So now, see this. So this, right, is what I'm talking about. MP40s with medkits and green cover. Do not F with that. And we're going to be killing the medics too, to keep them from getting walking wounded, which is a good call to do right now, because I only need one more. Alright, so Allies, I think at this point, probably are on the back foot, because they just don't have a very good answer to these MP40s. And that could be a very big problem. Now this T-17 is actually decent against infantry, because the gun is pretty quick firing, and no, that could have been bad. But you know, the gun is much better closer up than it is at range. And it doesn't look like these Volks have a Panzerfaust, so they're just sort of eating hits here. And there goes that machine gun. But, like, this is not a good matchup for these recon sections, especially going over red cover, right? So, Gorkstar is getting his Priest into the action to try to chase these guys off with the 50 cal gunner on it. But, oh, whoa, where did this come from, Redstorm? How long have you had these boys? Have I just not been paying attention? Oh, that could change some things. That could change some things. Some things could be changed by this. We're going to run over this AT gun. The AT gun is not going to die because it's immortal. And then the scout cars are going to come in and cause problems and also die to friendly fire. But yeah, as you see, this thing just doesn't die. Hope that gets fixed. Very fortunate Sturmpanzer bounces the critical shot. It's got 0 health. But now these guys are locked down picking apart this infantry, but they are locked down inside of the AT gun. Now, these things do get an incoming accuracy defense bonus when locked down, but it's not going to save them here. We have an Achilles on from Gorkstar. Rare unit sighted. This thing is frankly not that good. But if you're looking for some mobile anti-tank and you can't afford a Firefly, I guess you can work with it. Okay, Axis are in trouble. Unlimited has 2 platoons left. He's still got 1 of these things. If he replaces it, what is his population situation here? I was going to check that earlier. 18 out of 27. Yeah, if you replace this boy, you can call in something else. But it looks like the Axis are throwing in the towel. So, this is, by the middle of the game... Oh, a comet. Okay. By the middle of the game, not the way that I thought this was going to go. But I did forget that Gorkstar had an amount in reserve. And if one of them is a comet, that's a very potent unit to have at the end of the game. So, well done to the Allies, just absorbing those casualties from extraordinarily, disgustingly effective artillery use by the Axis. But in the end, they ended up having too much of that and not enough of everything else. That just be how it goes sometimes. Alright, this is confusing me. Let's go back to the original perspective. I don't remember who we were watching. It doesn't matter. The game's over. Main gun and engine. So many mobility crits, especially like completely immobilizing crits this game. Like an unusually high number. Alright, do you have the stun? There it is. There's the T-17 stun. But I expect the Panther's probably going to get away. Yeah. He's going to stand and fight. Get that kill. I love the voice lines in this game, man. The voice acting is so spectacular. Every unit sounds like what it does. Right? Anyway, we can speed it up from here. But this Panther is from Unlimited, right? What did I say before? Call off that artillery and call in this and all that infantry, and who knows, maybe it would have gone differently, but it's impossible to say. We can only speculate. And a flame half-track too. Had all that in reserve. Oh well, we'll never know. And maybe it wouldn't have been enough, because they do have that Comet, but, I mean, Panther and Comet, as far as I'm aware, those are relatively evenly matched. Oh, now hang on. What's going on here? What's going on here? Unlimited is capping up the map. We're not done yet, kids. We're not done yet. Managed to get the main gun back on this tank destroyer. There goes the flame half-track. Okay, so Unlimited does not have a way to destroy this M10. But he doesn't need to. He just needs to outcap them. Which feels like it might be a tall order right now, but not impossible. Alright, I do think we can speed it up at least a little bit, but it was a game and a half, Stuart, because it's gone over on the counter. The counter reset to 0 and started counting up again. Oh my stars, Unlimited. You magnificent bastard. Well, I was bad-mouthing you for like the last quarter of the game, but, you know, as long as you win in the end, then what does it matter? Now, what happens if you pull off after you get the win? I think you get annihilated, right? Thanks for watching, everyone.